Hi, Filmatics. Welcome back to part 2 with John Ierardi. And John is a executive and creative producer known for films like Follow Me, Safer at Home, and his most recent film, Torn Hearts. And that is from Blumhouse. So let's welcome John back. Hi, John. Welcome back.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
We were having fun talking about our favorite directors and like Francis Ford Coppola and yeah, just amazing film, The Godfather. And we were talking about some other films. We were having fun with The Sand-A-Lot and Rob Reinhardt's Stand By Me. And so it seems like you grew up in this beautiful community and the best pizza and what is it? Hey, what in Connecticut? What's the town with the best pizza?
New Haven, New Haven, Connecticut. Yeah.
And what's the pizza place? Might as well plug them because when I go there, they're gonna give me free pizza, right?
Sally's and Pepe's Pizza. It's you can't go wrong. I'm telling you, either or. Although I have to confess, I'm a Sally's fan through and through.
Oh, are they? They're not out here, just East Coast, right?
Yeah, I think they're just East Coast, but I think they're going to be. I think there's a thing that you can get them sent to you like over a dry ice. Yeah, there's like a secret number. I don't know if that's changed, but I haven't done.
This girl is, yeah, this girl's from Chicago, and we went to like I got invited to a girls' party. It was a girls' party. Like everyone was just, they each had a different art. Like one does like the singing bowls, one does chanting, one does yoga, one does crystals, and like she was ordering pizza on the dry ice from Chicago, and it was for I think for Thanksgiving, and she goes, no, you got to have this pizza, it's the best. I've company in and we can only have the Chicago, but it was the thick pizza. The deep dish. Yeah, so people are serious about their food. They will ship that food in on the dry ice. That's good to know.
I'll talk pizza. I mean, we could just have the pizza podcast too. I'll talk to you about it all.
We'll just have the food podcast too, because because we've all been stuck at home. So I mean, I have like if there's a little noise, everyone forgive me. There's a big old truck outside, and I'm recording the front room today instead of the back room. So I might go in the back. Let me see if I can do that. So so you were you do acting, and then you did casting production on America's Got Talent.
Yeah, that was my first job in like kind of behind the scenes in production was doing casting for different shows for Fremantle.
And then you started like a writers get together with a director friend.
And yeah, so that's kind of how we started. Because I'm more of a creative producer, and I have these ideas. I just love putting people together, writers, directors, and kind of forming these scripts. Really kind of building that community. And it started with my friend Will, who again we still work with. We still work together, and we have a couple other films coming out later in this year and next year. And yeah, like we just started meeting up and developing a couple different projects. And again, I met him on the set of a pilot, and we did a movie called Escape Room together that we made for not very much, but it got picked up by Voltage Pictures and Lionsgate, and he did a great job, and we had a great cast, and we made this movie with what we had, and it came out great, and it just led into another movie called Follow Me, which I was I took more of the producing role on that project, and that was even a bigger production, and again Voltage Pictures came on board for that, and that was Follow Me was kind of like the movie The Game with Michael Douglas. It's kind of for a younger viewership. It's about a social media personality, kind of like the Logan Pauls, of the world, that like what else can they do? What adventure is like? What's enough? What's the ultimate thing that they're seeking? And a group of friends, it's his birthday, and they take him to Moscow to go to an escape room. It's like, he's like, it was kind of a throwback to our first movie. And he's like, everyone's been to an escape room. They're old. Like, it's like, yeah, but this is more of an interactive escape room. Like, you don't know what's real. And that's kind of the tone of the movie. You don't know what's real and what's not. And, the consequences of social media and how far do people really go. And I think it really sent a message, to the YA viewers as well, just to, these things that we look at every day, you can't become totally obsessed with. And like you brought up, TikTok and all these things where it's people, they become obsessed with it and getting the likes and getting the numbers and the views. And it's like, you got to, really appreciate life. And I think that movie, it gave that balance of there's that horror aspect to reality,
Oh wow, your writing sounds amazing. I love it. Because everyone's like, follow me, follow me.
I didn't write that.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, you produced that one, right?
Yeah, it would. Yeah, help produce that one, but Will Wernick wrote that one.
Yeah, and how do you say Will's last name? Will's. Yeah. So, let me just see. Do we have you back? We're having a little technical. Yeah. So we were talking. Yeah, there we go. So Will's last name, John
Is Will Wernick.
Warnick. Will Warnick is your director, right?
Yeah, he was director, and he also wrote that film as well. And then after that, the pandemic hit, and we were trying to figure out like what we can do, like what project we can work on. And I had this idea. Have you ever seen the movie Very Bad Things?
I haven't seen it, but it sounds very interesting. Very dark.
Pretty much.
Very scary.
Yeah, it's super dark. It's from the late '90s. Peter Berg did that film, and Jon Favreau's in it. It's about a group of guys that go away for a bachelor party, and I just kept going back to this idea that you watch these movies and everyone yells at the screen, and it's like if everyone just called the cops, or if everyone just got out of the house, like everybody would be fine, but it's always like, oh no, we got to cover this up, or we can't call the cops because and it's like, no, you absolutely should. And so it got me thinking about this idea that this is how Safer at Home came to be. I was sitting in the kitchen, and I was like, like what if, because we were all in lockdown, during pandemic, and like again there was riots going on in LA, and there was a curfew at the time out here, as you remember, where it's like everybody had to be back in their house at,
talk about the
like
fires down the street, like Melrose. Like there's the guards, the National Guards. You're walking by and you're like, holy cow, the National Guard.
Yep.
And
tanks. There were tanks on Hollywood Boulevard, and that's where I was living, close to you at the time, up in Beechwood Canyon up there. And we didn't know, again, as creatives, it's like, what do you do? And everybody had to be in their house, and again there was no set to shoot on. So we had this idea. I came up with this idea that like, well, what if it's a group of friends celebrating a birthday party, and they mail each other like party favors and things like that, and they all decide to like, hey, like let's take this like little pill like to really have fun. Like they're supposed to be in Vegas, so they kind of bring Vegas to them over Zoom. They're trying to make the best of a bad situation. And the movie, like, we don't focus on anybody getting sick or anything like that. It was just strictly a birthday party that happens during the pandemic, because that's all everyone was doing over like over Zoom, like baby showers, like wedding shower, like everything. It was happening over Zoom. So I was like, let's just do that birthday party, and something goes wrong. I won't give too much away what happens, but something goes wrong during that Zoom birthday party, and then it's like a screen film of like, what do we do? How do we make this okay? And it was pretty wild shooting that. we had to sync everyone's audio together at their home. We had to drop off, their walkies and their microphones. And we had to teach them how to put it and hook it all up themselves. And the actors were real troopers, because it was so different for them too to be, doing this type of movie. And again, during these times of, no one could be touching each other, like nobody could be really interacting. It was wild, but at least, we made a film during that time, which, a lot of people didn't know what to do. And it's always, when you're stuck in that moment, I feel like that's when creative juices starts happening too. So yeah, it was a wild film that we did. And then Voltage picked that up, and then Hulu picked that up. And we're super proud for what we did.
Oh, it sounds amazing. Safer at home, and I'm glad that you were creative. Yeah, because that's how I was doing it. Like you said, like when you were starting your writer group with your friend, the director Will, like people didn't show up, and I remember like let's do YouTube, and no one showed up, and then I go, okay, let's do podcasts, and no one showed up, so I had to learn it myself. And during the lockdown, you're like, okay, I'm by myself with my dog going stir crazy. So I learned how to do podcasts, and I never knew that anyone would listen to the podcast because, when you're not on TV, you're not on film, like, is anyone going to listen? And the next thing I know, my kids' podcast, Enchanting Book Readings, takes off and it's now top 1% globally. So, but
Wow.
it's a lot of hard work because I had to write, direct, produce, edit, which I'm not a professional editor, and adding the sound, and I had to learn how to do voiceovers, and it's a lot of work. But I'm on the comedy side, like once again. But I had to tell you, John, I did do a couple. I did The Panic with an alien, and I shot that up at Beechwood. I think I was telling you about. It was
Amazing.
Yeah, my first dolly shot in, the Beechwood, in front of the grocery store in the little village there up at the top, and
I love that up there.
yeah, I had permission,
Yeah, it's so
and
pretty.
yeah, and then I did Zombie Diaries, the survival games, so I did, do something that I normally probably that's the closest I think to dark I've ever done. It was more like Blair Witch meets Lost. Yeah,
I
but
love that though. That's great. You gotta tell me about that idea.
yeah, I will. And I even did well, this is before the pandemic. I did Recipe for Love. It was like a date blind show. I was the original on
Cool.
that, but yeah, but I'm entertaining the kids, which that was the biggest thing because like I was by myself with my mom's, and she's stuck in it. No, she was stuck in Florida because she couldn't go back to Italy. I'm by myself
Mhm.
here with just my dog, and like it was really hard for a lot of people. A lot of people got depressed, and but those that
Yep.
some people just said, I'm going to create and create, and you actually executed and made a film, and you figured out how to make a film. So all the kudos to you. I mean, and your stories are so fantastic that I'm going to be definitely peeking at them,
Yep.
that's such a beautiful thing. And because a lot of people are still weird about like getting in contact with people, even if they have like the shots or the vaccines. They're like, "No, okay, you also got to get tested as well," and you're like, and it's like, when does it ever end? But
We had a lot of, I mean, that team, my producing partner, Bo Youngblood, she was amazing um, on that as well. And her and I, we own Showdown Productions as well. It's our company. But yeah, that, you're only as good as who you're working with. And she really stepped up on that whole movie to really help. She wore so many different hats. It wasn't just a producer. It's You're doing everything at that point.
you're writing, you're
design.
directing, you're your own PA, your own script supervisor, your own catering service. Oh my gosh. So yeah,
Absolutely.
the
So
one
it was
yeah, the one advantage on a podcast was like, well, I thank goodness they don't have to see my dark roots because I need my hair highlighted so bad.
it looks great. I
Ah,
see it.
so
But
you start your company. When did you start your company with Will, the Showdown Productions, or was that later after the films were successful?
no, so my company I have is with Bo Youngblood, Showdown Productions. Um, we are developing. We have a slate of films potentially happening later in this year and in 2023, which is some exciting news as well.
Oh,
Will and I, yeah, we Will and I become more of a creative partners, and we're good friends, number one, and we work on stuff together. We pass scripts back and forth. And when the certain project makes sense, sometimes we all try to work together. And we do. We have a couple of other projects. We have a billiards Detroit movie that Bo and I are producing, and Will's directing. That should be happening in October.
Nice.
More casting news to come with that, and that's kind of like a bringing up Good Will Hunting. That's kind of a Good Will Hunting set in the Detroit background, and like a pool. It's pretty good. It's really excited about that, to do more of a coming of age drama. So yeah, it's gonna be really fun. And then we have another project Bo and I are producing along with East End Productions, Carol Middleton. And also, give me 1 second. Sorry. So yeah, Bo Youngblood, Carol Middleton, Maya Glickman, and Bria Grant is supposed to be directing that as well, who did Torn Hearts for Blumhouse.
Oh, excellent. And then are you able to share of your recent film Torn Hearts? Is that coming out? That's going to be from Bloomhouse, right? It comes out May 20th.
Yep.
And it's starring Katie Seagal, Alexis Lemire, Abby Quina, and that's directed by Bria Grant, right?
Yeah, yep, absolutely.
Do you want to tell
we shot that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So we shot that in New Orleans, which was, in the dead of summer, which was, I love the city, but let me tell you, it gets pretty damn hot. You bring this whole suitcase for being there for about 2.5 months, and you just wear your t-shirt and your shorts every day, and you're just like, you surrender to the heat. But yeah, Torn Hearts, it's super exciting. Katie Seagal, as you mentioned, is our lead. It's about two up and coming female country singers, and their idol is Katie Seagal. She's kind of like a Dolly Parton. She was a big like 90s, like late 80s, early 90s country music singer. She had this group with her sister, and her sister, like, who was like the blonde, very charismatic. She was kind of the more of the front woman of the group. All of a sudden disappears, and there's a lot of talk in town about what happened and like what happened to this woman. But the two girls, Alexis and Abby, they Harper Dutch is their idol, so they want to go meet her, and they go to her house, they get her address, they knock on the door, and she's become kind of like this recluse. Like, no one's really seen her for a long time, and they're so excited to meet their idol, and all of a sudden things go horribly wrong.
Did they knock at 12 midnight by any chance?
Yeah, it has a misery factor to it.
Ooh, I love Misery. I don't even know if the kids have seen Misery. That was a good one.
Yeah, I don't want to give too much away. Like, that's
all
the thing
right
now. So be very candid about what I can say. But it's super exciting. I think it's a great ride. There's a lot of twists and turns, and I don't think the audience is gonna be expecting the ending, to be honest with you. But that's also, you've never really seen, I don't think, Katie in the character like this before. And I'm such a huge Katie Seagal fan, just in general. Her playing Gemma on Sons of Anarchy, and obviously the Married with Children was just amazing. But there's very few actors who can do so much without saying nothing. Just from an expression on their face. And I feel like those are the greats. Those are the great ones, and that's why she's had the career that she's had. because when she gives you that look in this movie, you better start running.
Oh, man. We love movies in the Big Easy. My dad is from Louisiana. My last name is Abear, so we love New Orleans. We and, like, it's such a fun city to walk around. It's such a walkable city, so fun, like, making your own perfume into the coffees and the beignets and all the architecture, so you must that must have been a great backdrop too for the movie.
Yeah, that was beautiful, and yeah, we were, just like all like you mentioned, all like just the historical areas there, and it was gorgeous. It really is.
Yeah, and all the fun partying and all the, like, Mardi Gras stuff that you get. So yeah, like, I actually managed, Joey Segal, Katie Segal's brother, and he
Oh, wow.
he he play he does a Nixon impersonation, and he was in the movie that Nixon movie, and he's an
Right.
incredible actor too. He's a very incredible actor,
Oh, very
so if you
cool.
ever need him for a film, let me know. I'm a direct dial to Joey Segal, Katie's brother, so I thought that was really cool.
I love that.
I wonder if they've ever been in a movie together. Maybe you can
I
write
know.
something for them.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, that'd be. I'm surprised.
Right
I
here, we're
would think that they would.
brainstorming.
And she was so great, like, again, just to work with, and she was just perfect for that character. Yeah, she was fantastic. And that is the hardest thing, though, too. I think people don't realize when we are still, like, the sets are still, you have to wear masks and PPE and shields, and
Ugh.
especially when you're shooting, it does take that magic.
Yeah, it must be hard, and especially those, very, very high temperatures to shoot a film in. We lost some internet, so I'm gonna just talk till, John comes back. I'm good at blubbering until he gets back. Are you back? So
Yeah, yeah, no, it's,
yeah, yeah. So, John was talking about on the set, and New Orleans was very, very hot, especially the humidity back there. You had to wear the mask, and so that makes it really hard to do. John, I actually filmed up Beechwood Canyon when I was telling you that. It was like 90, so past 90 degrees when we were filming, actually up at the Lake Hollywood, and,
mm,
um, and we had, like, the alien crash landing, so we had the guys in the lab, like those coats, the plastic
yeah,
uniforms from head to toe with the mask. So I guess I was pre-mask, we all had masks on, but one girl almost fainted, so here I'm directing and producing, and then I had to go in her place because there's 3 people carrying the dead alien body, and they were in the yellow hazmat suits, and it was 90 plus degrees, and we had the face goggles and everything, and, it was all 3 girls were able to make it, but the one guy just couldn't do it. But I remember how hot, and you're sweating, and your hair was just like, and of course, I have a
yeah,
photo of that where I looked just not the best look. It was just like
yeah.
it
We were all
complete
drenched.
yeah,
It's like when by the time you're done and you have, again, you have the shields, you have the mask, and it's just you're in this heat. You can't avoid it, and it's a lot, and it's also like, it's so impersonal because one of the most I think amazing traits that anyone could bring to set is just what a smile can do. Specifically when you're on set and you're working long hours, and not to be able to see anyone's face and just kind of, that's a smile can mean everything's gonna be okay, guys. Like we're right there, and to not to be able to even share that is was
yeah.
difficult.
Like your expression is locked, and then also you had like a lot of people had the shields over the eyes as well. So even though it's see through, it's yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot, but luckily we were able to go to work and do what we all love to do, and that's all you can really think about during the time of shooting like that. But
Anyone share any funny stories in New Orleans? Did you have some good stories? Like any kind of adventurous things you'd like to share?
yeah, I mean, the whole well, Brie and I, the director, we both, we flew in and we had to go on scouts and location scouts, and everybody had these raincoats on and umbrellas, and but it wasn't raining, like it wasn't, the weather was fine, and we were like, we're gonna be fine. We left the office, we're in, our t-shirts. Cut to 20 minutes later, we drive out there. It's just starts pouring rain. We just looked like the out of towners that were like, you know, you had your locals and everybody that works in production that's like, prepared for because the weather changes in the snap of a fingers. It's but we just looked at each other like, yep, well, we're the ones that just got off the plane from LA, and now we're sitting here drenched, and everyone else has umbrellas. But another one was we were shooting a scene where Katie is sitting at the dining table with our other two leads, and she gets up fast and just throws this plate of food across the dining room and smashes against the wall. So watching her do that 5 times, and the last time, you know, she sat back and we were all looking at the monitor because this, you know, her scene was so great, and she didn't stop, and she just kind of sat down and she just started laughing hilarious. It was like, fuck, that was fun, you know. And there's moments like that you just go like, this is our job today. You know, we're watching Katie Sagal, you know, in this amazing character, throw these plates of food across the dining room, you know, just smashing into the wall. I mean, she did that like 6 times, and we had a lot of fun moments like that on set. And like, there's a bowling scene where, you know, she's throwing this bowling ball down, you know, and it just smashes into like all these empty wine beer bottles. Like it was just so much fun. Like the set really was fun.
Oh, that sounds like incredible script, and, like, I love all the details of it, like the bowling ball through that, because like, when you're writing, it's so fun to write the specific details and make it come to life, and you sound like you really have your characters, they're, like, sophisticated and, like, I think people need those meat and potato type of films where they're, like, it's character oriented, right? Would you say it's character oriented too?
Yeah, absolutely. And Rachel Collar Croft, she wrote the screenplay. And again, when Blumhouse approached me with the script, and just after reading it, I was so in. I haven't read anything like that in so long. Where you have this, you know, this country music Nashville setting where, you know, all of a sudden we're thrown into this cat and mouse, so to speak, game in this contained house where it's like, what is happening? You know, it was so fun, and you actually, like, you saw the characters jump off the page, and you could, you know, you started visualizing who you wanted to see play these roles, you know. So it's all in the writing, and Rachel did an amazing job to bring that story to life.
And then, do you wanna share anything about Brea's, directing or how she captures those things for our audience? Because they always love those little tips.
Yeah, you know, Bria, she's super, number one, she's super collaborative. We were there for prep and, you know, just sharing ideas. But you know, she was so prepared, and that's the thing I think with um, any great director, like the preparation, you know, leading up to the first shot. And she had her own soundtrack that she made that, you know, she shared with us. She had her own, like, you know, directorial like lookbook and the colors and the palette that she wanted to use, and she wanted to like really focus on like the pinks and, you know, make it fun. And again, like that's even with our poster that came out, you know, the Torn Hearts is it's got that great pink kind of neon look. And again, the movie, you know, it's just the whole tone is from what she had in her mind right from the beginning. Again, even from the music, and just talking with our costume designers, and she wanted it to look fun and wanted to look big, you know. But also capturing that, like, the heat. You know, this is like this is supposed to be a hot kind of horror type of film. You know, there's so many elements that you want to capture, and she did that so precisely. And just dealing, like watching her dealing and talking with the actors, and just really, she created the work environment and as a leader, you know, she really did. And she was, again, just going back to the preparation. She knew what she was doing and what she wanted to shoot each day. So.
Now, did you have any cool film shots that you want to share? Because any moving shots that add to that fear factor
Oh,
or that dark
oh
factor?
yeah, absolutely. So there's, I mean, one of my favorite shots is, you know, it's the opening. It was part of the opening where we see we first introduce Katie. You know, the girls call her house on like the microphone. You know, like and then she cut to her like walking down the stairwell, and we reveal her for the first time, and it's like this, oh my god moment where Katie, you know, we first see Katie walking down the stairs, and we introduce her, or we're like, oh, like she's this presence, you know. Another one is with she had like when Katie grabs the shotgun out of her bedroom and she's chasing the girls. It's also in the trailer, you know, through the hallways and just blowing holes in the wall all over her house. It was amazing. It was so much fun.
Well, check out Torn Hearts, and we had John Ierardi. Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me.